Hello, Super Robot fans. Welcome back to this entry into the archives. My name is Austin. I'm so glad you're joining me here on this fabulous Wednesday or whenever it is you're going to watch this. I am mad, which makes me happy. I'm the kind of frustrated that makes you motivated to do something. I am so tired to dying to these stupid aura battlers, so I figured I would do some math. And I do know this game's mechanics a fair bit better now. We'll talk about that when we get into the mission. There's some really interesting and goofed up things that are going on. But we've got some story to talk about first as soon as we don't black screen. Okay, so we are going to open with Ryusei and Brooklyn talking about their relationship to Project SRX. They both realize that they could probably be doing more with their lives than just like slaving away at this project, and they kind of have this like fraternal bond resolving to do so. Brooklyn, we don't get really much of his perspective, but we got a lot more on Ryusei, that he's sort of this like happy-go-lucky, plucky kid, but actually he's like really sincerely emotionally thoughtful. I like that emotional intelligence gets paralleled with like psychokinesis. That makes sense to me. The more you can like read into someone's heart and mind, the better you're able to understand them. And that would then carry through to not using your psychic powers too. I think that makes good sense. Ryusei also, unfortunately, he is responsible for an airplane-based mobile suit, right, or like robot right now, and he doesn't feel very comfortable flying. I don't know who decided to put him in the head, but for his own sake, I hope we get the combined suit, because gosh golly, that seems unfortunate. But that's sort of what led into this conversation about like doing their best and why they're doing it. We've been told repeatedly that Ingram is a very taxing leader, that he expects a lot out of people. And he sort of has no emotional bandwidth for Ryusei when he's like, I kind of feel uncomfortable flying this plane. Like, this is not really my expertise. This is not really my strong suit. And Ingram's like, well, it's gonna be. And we reflect on again how exactly Ingram fits into this whole world. Let me grab my notes quick. I don't remember this initialization. PTX, yes. Okay, so Ryusei also knows that Ingram is he was part of the PTX project, which was the precursor to the SRX project. It stood for, as far as my translation is concerned, Personal Trooper Project. And we don't really get much about, or at least I don't have much about it right now. I wonder if that's also maybe what's contributing to Ingram's sort of grumpiness, touchiness, emotional immaturity. A lot of like this era of science fiction show really likes these like experimental testing that then deludes or denudes someone's ability to have competency. I think that probably spawns largely from the movie Akira. And I could see it happening here too. I don't know if we're gonna get more about PTX, but I at least want to like mark it because it feels like it was said with the gravitas of a term that we are supposed to care about, you know? Perfect. I was gonna say, I gotta go through these menus really slowly to make sure we do this correctly. But we have a choice here. This is gonna lead to one of our expert points. We have protecting the Grand Garan or letting the Grand Garan deploy. For a brief little mini Japanese lesson, the first kanji after we have the change, like once the line has a different kanji in it compared to the line below it, that is the same line that we use for the character for defense. So if we go with this route, we are guaranteed to lose an expert point. This takes an expert point away from us, and the Grand Garan is not deployed. We are going to select instead to deploy it, and that is going to give us an expert point to begin with. It's going to change our stage objectives. If you couldn't tell by the opening, I have played this one before already once. Not very long, mind you. I kind of just got annihilated out of the blue. But one of the requirements is that the Grand Garan is going to need to get to the other side of the map. So I have to imagine if we don't deploy it, that would be one of the requirements, you know? So Todd has now shown up, and let's have him lead us back into some conversations about story. The group that we're with, of those who could sense aura power, felt a strong presence of someone they described as being a holy knight, the same kind of good they felt coming out of Show earlier when we first talked about this like very specific emotional feeling of power. They don't actually call it out by Todd specifically. They say they feel someone who is a holy knight nearby who has this good power. I have to assume that it's Todd. I don't know if he's a holy knight. I assume that he is. I think they're part of the same organization. I think And it feels weird to say that and then not show someone, especially considering the other people we have are Musei Po, who was a music teacher and doesn't really want to be on the battlefield, so I don't feel like that's Holy Knight material. And we have Shot, who is, I believe, descriptively a scientist. Also, by the fact that he is in the Spriggan on the battlefield right now, he maybe is just from Dunbine, and they just integrated Ingram well by having him act like he knew who Shot was already. Or not acting like, but like that he knew who Shot was already. Okay, what else? Right. So the Grand Garand is uncontrollable. It's going to move to the other side of the map. And we, I think, need to get this done by the time that happens if we want to do anything else. But I don't know, because I didn't get that far. Musei Po just ran up and then annihilated me in one hit, because damage calculations in this game are absolutely ludicrous. I've been, you've heard me try to estimate some of them to try and sort of guess. And good lord was I so far off. These numbers were like so bafflingly different. And I as much as I wanted to go into this ignorant, it does not feel like it's compelling gameplay if I'm just gonna like keep dying to these one shots that I can't predict, or I'm just going to like sit and take hits that are going to like do 10 to me, right? There's both sides to those coins, and it feels like we're hitting both of them, so like I need to be a little bit more informed to stop that from just making bad videos. Let's look at the Spriggan first. It is what I'm assuming is a battleship, which also makes a little more sense why Shot is on the battlefield. He did not strike me as much of a warrior. It does have a pretty small post-movement range, and though it is flying, so like we're not going to have to worry. We can't like let it drag it through the forest terrain and then stop it from attacking us. So yeah, we want to shoot down Shot because he is also a second expert point for us, and he drops a part. Which one is it? My translation, I wasn't going to look it up intentionally, but my translation told me, so like I have the information. Let's not pretend I don't. Oh, he has a psycho frame on him. Yes, we very much want that. And Musei Po is a more comparable to a like Gundam style mobile armor. I want to make the Gundam comparison because I also described her as being like Lala Soon in a previous map, in the like kind of resistance to go to war, but having some amount of like emotional attachment and responsibility there, but also that she is like really highly attuned with her aura power, the equivalent of psychic power. Okay. So I guess let's start here because Musei is the reason that this happened. Here are some notes, and most of this can be found in Akarasu. As far as I'm concerned, the math for all of the damage in Akarasu is correct. You have my seal of approval on it for whatever little that's worth. I did not check accuracy yet. So here are some observations. Let's start with the one that isn't necessarily correct. If you look on Akarasu for the ability, describe the pilot skill or a battler. Musei has level 3 of it right now. Joe also has level 3. I think Todd probably has level 3 of it also. Yeah. Aura power is described as increasing damage and accuracy, which is to be expected. In other games, it does that too. As far as my damage calc goes, it doesn't. There is a chart in the calculation section that says by level 3, it's going to add a 5% increase. And it's going to, when you're calculating damage, you're going to multiply whatever your damage is by 1.05 times in order to yield the increase that aura power gives you. But the numbers are correct if you don't make that increase. So I wonder if this is like how new type was working or potential was working in R, where it's giving accuracy stats at a different rate than it's giving damage stats. But as of right now, aura power does nothing for our damage. It's just a check to be allowed to get us to attack, like use better attacks. As far as like damage portion, the damage portion of combat goes. Again, I don't know how it participates in accuracy, but let's look at some stats then. So because this game exists before pilots have a defense stat, The only thing we care about for defense is their armor. And then that just gets multiplied directly across with a decimalized, not mobility, morale. So you just take morale, divide that by 100, and then multiply that to armor, which makes armor so much better. So things that are tanky are more tanky than they would seem otherwise. Every point of armor is now more valuable. It also just makes morale more valuable. Rather than it being half a percentage point, it is 1 percentage point increase every time. But here's the part that's real goofed up. The damage formula has you take the weapon damage. So in this case, let's do 2100 because this aura cannon is the thing that killed me. You would multiply that by the corresponding damage stat. So range, in this case, 159. That 159 divided by 100, so 1.59. Multiply those, then multiply that again by morale divided by 100. So if you have your increased morale, you're not adding that to your damage stat, you're multiplying it to the damage stat. So the formula ends up resulting in like massively inflated numbers comparatively. Even with a couple of points into morale, the difference is like it's a 1.45 times multiplier or like a 1.82 times multiplier, right? Like we are it's not exactly doubling, right? Because it's going to scale very differently by the nature of multiplication, but it is a very, very dramatic change. So stat points are also worth considerably more in this game. If we can find any pilots that get artificially increased stats through abilities, they're definitely going to be a higher priority. I do see in these calcs, I haven't tested this yet because I literally just looked at it for this stage. I did this for like a half hour. But I did see in these calcs that Akarasu also notes the stat increases from this game are also partially dependent on their use. That melee and ranged are going to increase corresponding to like sort of internal experience levels. They can get up to 20 points of experience before they increase by a stat. A regular hit gives you 1, a regular kill gives you... A regular hit gives you 1, a regular kill gives you 5. A hit on a map attack gives you none. A kill on a map attack gives you 1. So as we land more kills with certain types, we're also going to see that stat increase, theoretically. I don't know if we'll keep track of that. I'm probably not going to worry about it too much. But the more we scale up, the better we are going to keep scaling up. It didn't say whether that applied to other stats or not, too. What else? Oh, yes. Just like Fantasy Maiden Wars, distance does play an effect in damage too. The closer without having to go into the calculations too hard, the closer you are to the target, usually you are going to deal more damage. This does not work that way for melee. Like you have to have a range. So you want really long range attacks and you want to use them at really close range, which feels weird to me, but that's how the math works. So every point closer you are to your target, you get an extra 3% more damage. So like the aura cannons, I got hit from them at 1 range. So she was getting 15% more damage on top of whatever else she was supposed to be getting because she hit me at that close of a range. I don't know how much I will remember to pay attention to that, but we should definitely endeavor to try to. We rant and rave about Majin Power being very good when it's giving 20% increase. The fact that everyone just has a 15% increase. Well, not everyone, right? Like that is being applied very specifically to that weapon because it has 6 range. But like the fact that everyone has access to a pretty significant damage modification by attacking at close range definitely needs to be a priority. I just also I want to say it out loud the most because right here, I'm going to do this incorrectly. I want the most to say it out loud because I'm used to trying to attack things at the furthest end of their range. Because when the damage didn't matter, I wanted to try and stay as far away from enemies as possible. So like here, I don't want to shoot Todd down with Ryusei, I don't think. despite the fact that I looked up some mechanics, I don't really still want to look up anything internal to the game. Any like plot secrets, right? Or like character acquisition secrets. I want to get Todd, and I'm going to keep acting like we need to shoot him down with Sho, assuming we can't talk to him. So, like, if we get Ryusei close to him, we are adding 6% extra damage on top of what we should be doing. So, like, in Exemplum, let's talk through this damage quick. We won't do this every time, but, like, we may as well if we're talking about it right now. So we have 1900 power for our attack. It's a range-based attack. We're then going to multiply that across with 168 divided by 100, so 1.68. Which gives us 3,192 power. We should check that against the terrain modifier, which is A. A is still 100%. That's like the normal one. I can't wait to talk about terrain modifiers too. If we see terrain modifiers come up, we'll definitely talk about those. There's some really dramatic numbers happening with terrain modifiers. We can definitely, I guess here's the short answer. Of all of the games to take advantage of terrain modifiers, this one is the most to do that. Okay, then that's our base damage value. Todd is working with just 1500 armor because he's still at 100 morale. I also see where it is on the screen now. Ooh, actually here, sorry. Math wizards in the comments are going to probably come for me if I do this. I did this slightly incorrectly. The increased damage based on your range is not exactly what I said it was, because it's not adding it to your base damage value. It's adding it. You are going to multiply your damage change based on proximity once you've already calculated defense into it. So it's not exactly the percentage increase I said it was. So we're looking at 1,692 points of damage, assuming we are assuming with no other like distance modifiers on top of it. So if we are here, we are 2 steps closer, each one giving 3%. So it will still be numerically a 6% increase, but it's not a 6% increase to your base damage. It will be slightly different than that. So we're gonna multiply that by 1.06 to get 1,793 points of damage. And we also are psychic, correct? We are psychic, and theoretically being psychic telekinetic, that also adds another 5%, which also gets multiplied at this stage. This is only 1,883 points of damage. My concern is if we crit. Oh no, if we crit, yeah, critting is also a 50%. You multiply the damage you would do by 50%. So we would be doing 2824. Assuming I did all this correctly, which is still not lethal to Todd. And we want to do as much damage as we possibly can. Okay, great. That number was a little bit less than I thought it was, but it was decently close. I said 1883 and it was 1793. We were like 90 off. Is that because of size? Oh, that was probably because of a size modification. Right, so if we go divide that by 1.5, we're back to 18. We'll just go 1883. And then times... That can't be just by 0.8. That's too much of a difference. I think size was factoring in here, though. But we want to hit Todd for as much as we possibly can, with the hopes of being able to hit him with the wire claws. But that's not going to be the case. We're going to need to still go for the Aura Sword. Yeah, we wanted to use the wire claws just because they have a lot more accuracy to them. But like, this is why I do want to check accuracy at some point, right? Because like we're hitting with 81% right now. We increase our accuracy adjustment with weapons by 20, and we've only gone up 11 points. So like clearly something else is multiplying against that in order to get us that small of a change, you know? Okay, hopefully this kills Todd. We can't have a lot of bosses sitting around. The Drumlows are going to be absolutely no problem. The Botoons can easily clean those up for us. It's just the bosses that are going to be a problem. Rat, okay. Yeah, we already planned for this. I am somewhat tempted to kill Todd on enemy face if we can help it, because we would like to have show active for the next turn. Okay, where was this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll move here. And then we will have Amuro do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That should be good. I don't remember. Yeah, Musepo does move this turn. What attacks do we have available to us? Okay, we will have this attack. Can you... Ooh, okay. Yeah. No, we're definitely... I would like to try and kill her as soon as possible. She seems very threatening. 2100 power backed up by a, like, 1.6 times multiplier is pretty nasty. And just as long as these are like vaguely close to where the Drumlows will be, I will be happy. I don't have their move planned out perfectly, but I don't think we have to. Yeah, then the Grand just sort of slides forward. Nothing happens. Musepo moves. Okay. Yeah, these Drumlows will do whatever they want. They move in such an odd order. I'm so fascinated by what order they move in. Okay. If Amuro can land some of these kills, yeah, that's fine too. I would prefer these to go to our Dunbind pilots if we can help it, but I also want to keep things off the board because I do think we're on a timer. I suspect that when the Grand leaves the map, we are going to be finished. So I want to free up as many actions as possible to be able to take out Shot. That Psycho Frame will probably do a wonder for us if we put it on, like the Dunbind, for instance. Okay. Nice. I mean, I'm unsurprised that Amuro's doing well. He just always does. He's got a Valor now too. Okay, that was probably worthwhile. If I knew we were going to be chasing, Valors, that probably was the play we wanted to make. Also, we definitely should have used a focus on, not Ingram, on Brooklyn. Gracious. Oh, we're still killing from there. Okay. I do think new type might also increase our damage. Oh, drat. Okay, I forgot to heal. We should have used a trust. Okay, roll just try and dodge. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's fine. If we had healed, I think we probably should have. Oh, right. Okay, so we get the Bilbine. We're gonna get the Bilbine here. Whenever. Okay, great. I'm surprised that we got it so quickly, which this does tell me that we're probably not going to be here with the Dunbind plot for very long, because I feel like he's not going to get it in, like, episode 3. I know it doesn't go, like, exactly. It's not exactly correct, but... Okay. Right, we've only added 4 accuracy by going plus 20 to hit there. That's, like, utterly ludicrous to me. But switching in and out here does mean we've refilled our SP, which is why it probably would have been good had we killed. So, like, Chum would have gotten 3 shots of fortune. But I did want to be greedy and try and get one of those fortunes in here. Okay. I think we're going to try this again. So, unfortunately, what I was saying about trying to free up turns is not actually necessarily going to be working here, but it's not the worst. I hope this is all not. I hope this isn't for naught. Oh, sorry. We should also look at the bill bind. I did the first. I looked. So what I did was I looked at the bill bind, and then went to use it on Museipo. It had like I had like a 10% chance to get hit, and I was like, she probably can't like one shot us, right? And she did double our health. Yeah. It was a bad time. I would have shown it, but like, there's no reason to. It was, yeah, like anything I could have said was going to be covered here. Okay, so we have Aura Barrier. That's the thing. It's been like repelling all of our beam attacks. I don't know at what number it's blocking it at yet, but it seems to activate pretty early on. Like, we've attacked units at like 107 morale that we're already activating it, so it's probably at like a 105 threshold. I feel like they're going to keep them at like increments of 5. We have After Image. Oh, right. I was thinking in my previous recording that it was on already because it wasn't grayed out, but this game doesn't have it grayed out. It lights it up in blue when it gets activated, so After Image is not turned on yet. I'm used to it activating at 130, so I guess that'll be that. It would be weird. It would be very powerful if it was active now. Like, I didn't assume it was going to be. I figured I was missing something, or it was just like a lot worse in this game. But no, that makes sense. Yeah, so we have 3. I mean, show is still the same, but we have a couple more attacks now. Our Hyper Aura Slash. Sorry, no, this isn't Slash. This is the. No. Sorry, this is the Hyper Aura Slash. Our kanji is, I'll put it on screen for you, is the kanji for Zan or Kiri. The Zan, you see the word Zan in a lot of things. A lot of technique names like to use Zan. It's usually associated with wind too, or maybe that's just my love for Shin Megami Tensei. But it literally means decapitation or like beheading. But I feel like that's like less likely to be shouted in a somewhat for kids TV show. Okay. Right, we don't have enough morale for this yet, but we can, like, this is pretty good. Seeing as, again, we're going to be increasing our damage. Right, it's 7 range, and we are what? 1, 2, 3. So we're getting 12% extra there. I, like, don't know how to describe it in a way that does not make it sound like I think we are multiplying it incorrectly. One of our frequents, Tricky, I suspect. Right, regularly when I describe things mathematically in a way, like I will say add when I don't mean the mathematical formula of adding, but I mean like putting together. Will usually be one to like make sure I have the numbers exact on like what the multiplication is. So I'm like trying to make sure, I'm trying to like think about very carefully about how I'm describing what's happening. Yeah, that was well worth it. Okay. With how powerful she is, I think we need to only make attacks if they are fully safe rather than trying to even risk the like 10% hits. We might have to wait for that for like the last attack we made. Okay. How is Ryusei's T-Link? Not usable in the air. Right. Okay. We can use the revolver. That's not good in air. That's not as good in air, though. I believe it's a 20% difference across terrain modifiers. No, sorry, it's a 50. It's a 50. A is 100%. B is 85. C goes down to 60. So no, it doesn't even drop. It doesn't even drop exactly correct. It doesn't even drop exactly perfectly. Right? It goes by 15, then 25, then 30. Yeah. This now, right, it has an A in the air this way. So there's no, I don't think there's any like relationship bonuses. Okay, so we go here. That is, I want to try and do this math. I want to figure this one out. Sorry. This is 1900 times 1.68 is 3192. And then we are going to lose 1900 times 1.11. We're going to lose 2190 power. Okay. Sorry, not 2190, 2109. 2109. So we're only going to be doing about 1083. But we can Valor after that, I believe. Right, we can burn all 3 of these to Valor then. So Valor's double damage. These are all multipliers, so we can just do these in whatever order we want. We have a normal range of 3, so we get to multiply this by 1.06. And then this is an A in the air. Okay. Are you a medium? You are a medium. Yeah, so we're neutral on size damage here. And then we get to multiply this by 1.05, maybe because Ryusei is psychic and telekinetic. He's enough levels in telekinesis that he should be getting a damage modifier as far as Akarasu is concerned. So we're either going to do 2295 or 2410 if we do this. Do I feel like we have enough to follow up with that? Amuro is also doing like a sizable amount of damage at this point. Okay, so here, we could focus with Amuro and Valor also. And I kind of don't care if he gets hit so much because we have the snap off. Right? We don't need to use the focus. Or sorry, we don't need to use the flash. Because if we get hit, we just snap into regular Rigazee. So let's try this and see. Where we don't need to calc this one, because we know roughly what Ryusei is going to do. And this is like an easily safe attack. Then we can follow up with Ryusei, depending on what we see here. Yeah, incredible. Okay. Yeah, so we will use Ryusei now. I just, like, as much as we were giving levels to Amuro here, I don't necessarily feel like we're going to use him long term. Not that he's not worth it, but... yeah. Okay. That was we took a lot less damage there than we did with Show. I wonder if part of that is new type reducing some of the damage. Because it just has it listed as, like, change modifiers, right? It doesn't say exactly what's being applied to. And like even the Billbind has more armor. Though I guess Amuro, I guess actually hold on. While I was doing this, Show had just the morale from killing Todd. So yeah, I guess Amuro does just have a lot more morale at this point. We increased his like defense by like 15%. And I don't know what new type's doing for that too. Okay. And if she crit too. I'm just like trying to make sense of like why she did like I feel like she did almost like 4K when we lost. I feel like I know what the answer is going to be, but I figure I may as well check. For like moments like those, I value transparency a lot. So like what would you like me to do about that in the future if we do lose? I don't necessarily know if it's immediately interesting to watch. In that case, right? Because it's like the scenario didn't even like get started yet. We were just like starting to spool up our time, and just sort of out of nowhere we were gone. Yeah, I just like. I also don't want to give off the impression that I play any of these games perfectly. You know, I feel like that's abundantly apparent at this point. But just want to make sure. I feel like it's a better like watch experience. Sick. Okay. I feel like it's a better watching experience to do it the way that I have here, but I could be wrong. Is someone in this? Oh no, the helmet just loaded in. Odd. Okay. So we could have the Grungus come here. If we don't kill, which we probably won't because we have a B in the air. We can finish up with one of the Bochuns. Okay, hold on. Let's have Need do it. And then we can have... Oh, that's awful. Okay, never mind. Keen's gonna do this, I guess. She can clean this up fine because she is adjacent. We just like really want to make use of the like adjacent melee. And then we can have the core booster. Oh, never mind. We are shy 24 points of damage. What a shame. Okay. So we could then have someone like me clean up here, have the core booster clean this one up. And then all of those are healthy. Okay, so we actually aren't going to give it to the core booster then. I am less concerned with it. We just like have such a I feel like these characters especially get so little use, and like this is the best Marvel has ever looked. But I mean, like, I knew that one wasn't going to kill because these attacks are kind of poor. Great. Oh right, yeah, he now has Aura Battler. Let's get you next to Amuro. That's not Amuro. For next turn. You know what? I guess let's do this. I'd rather get the kill and get them off the map. Yeah, I think that's a better choice. Okay. Right, because we are ideally going to deal with the Spriggan next turn. And we don't care about the Botoons quite so much. This is a bit of a bummer that they're like fully leaving us. But that one seems we could probably take that one out. Maybe with the no, but the core boost already has a job. Okay. At least the Grand is like actually properly a battleship here. Right, where it's barely taking any damage. Okay. How close can you get, Show? Not close enough. You can kill a Botoon, but yeah, okay, so maybe we aren't killing the Spriggan this turn. Which I suppose is fine, because I don't think the Grand is also not leaving this turn. Okay. So I think let's have Show get his kill first to give our actually hold on, let's learn this too. I've been assuming it's the case, but I don't know. Ryusei has 112. Ingram has 108, and Amuro has 125. 112, 108, and 125. I want to see if getting kills actually by other pilots gives you morale. Oh, no. We do know it does. We do know that it does. We have seen that already before. Okay. So if we can kill the Spriggan and one other, then Show will have the Aura Slash. That's probably overkill for a Botoon. Actually, here's why we have damage formulas. This is why we're going to check again. We are attacking for 1800. We have an A in the air, and that is being multiplied by... yeah, I guess with his damage... yeah. That's 1800 times 1.8... or his melee stat. Times 1.08 is 3576. And then this is 1200 by 108. 1200 by 108 is we're losing 1296 minus 1296 damage. That is 2280. So as it stands, that is not enough, barring other elements that I'm not thinking about. Are you small? You are small, but we are also small. Aura power will not factor. Like I said before, I don't think aura power factors in. We don't have the distance the distance modifier because we are already going to be required to be adjacent. So I do think that we need the damage modifier. I do think we need extra damage coming from something to like get that kill. Okay, so we will worry about that one later then. I guess just like this is probably our safest attack. So I suppose we make it. And then just sort of like get a clock on the Spriggan. We should have seen this in combat, I apologize. Okay. It is a battleship after all. I figured it was not going to go down easily. Okay, still got more than probably like 10k. We do want to try and kill it with show because that's a juicy paycheck waiting there for us. Okay. What are we afraid of? We are kind of afraid of this. Okay. Oh. It's got terrain everywhere. Okay. We don't even have enough units to like run it out of attacks. I guess we can just like try to have Amuro annihilated again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 6. From here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Never mind. Amuro has a job. We have another Valor. I wish they didn't make him so good. I wish they'd make it so easy. Okay. Yeah, we'll Valor and we will Flash. No reason to waste the HP if we don't need to. This is... Okay. Because this is awful. We are not closer to get, like, extra damage, but... Okay, we got 6,000 left. That's not the end of the world. I don't think we have Fortune on anybody else. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, it's just on Chum. Yeah, okay. Wait, that shouldn't have increased anything. Yeah, so if we could have Ryusei come in here and kill one of these. Right, like have him kill here. Then have, I think this is Marvell. Yeah, we'll have Marvell come here, take this one out. Never mind, that one hasn't been hurt. Did only one of them get hit? Only one of them got hit. Awful. Okay, Ingram, do you have a post movement? No, not nearly long enough. Okay. Yeah, and the only ones you can hit are these two. You don't have an Excel by chance? No, you don't. That Valor's not worthwhile. Okay, so maybe if Show ends up chipping, we can kill. Or maybe we have Marvell chip it first. It's gonna do like practically no damage. It's not gonna do enough damage though. We only need it to do like 300 points of damage for Show to get the kill based on our calcs. Or do we just say forget the money? It's not worth it. Let's try and go in on the Spriggan. Just to like keep us alive. Better the enemy we can control than the enemy that has like free reign over its targets. Because we do have Valor on Marvell, and I don't hate the idea of giving her some kills. Right, we can like Aura Slash here with a Valor up. I'm sorry, she's also level 30. Did we give her a boss kill last time that I'd forgotten about? I guess we did. I think I like that better. I think we're just gonna lose the money. Okay. Ryusei chip first. Great. Do we even need the Valor? Okay. Let's see if we don't need the Valor. We're small. This is a large unit. Okay. Does size... Maybe size doesn't play a factor into damage. Actually, looking at this equation, I'm not seeing size playing a factor into this equation at all. That it's only checking for accuracy. Like, that's how... I'm pretty sure that's how R was. Yeah. Okay, let's assume that size doesn't play a factor. So we are trying to stop 2109 points of armor. We don't have to worry about his aura barrier, seeing as we're going to be hitting with a sword. Okay, then we have 2000 power. 2000 times 1.67 times 1.08 is 3607. this is minus, what did I say? 2109. Yep, 2109. That is 1498 as far as I am projecting, which is in fact not enough to kill, even if we multiply that by 2. Can we get some extra hits in here? We can. This is also not beam based. Can you get close enough? Oh, excellent. Okay. I think this will probably do it if we can put Nay involved here too. Let's flash just to be safe. We are at 1 range. This is going to hurt more. Yeah, like knowing that makes me feel a lot more confident about our plays as we're moving forward. That like being in close is actually putting us at more risk. It makes sense. I get it. I mean, I do get it. I don't get it. I feel like we sort of misunderstand how long-range weapons work a lot of times. That it's just like obviously hitting it is. Or getting hit by it's like always going to hurt. You're like getting hit by a larger blast of it because it's like more concentrated. But like some things need time to like quote unquote arm themselves. Like a laser doesn't arm itself, but it, you know, I don't even know if it's a laser. What is the? I mean, it's the aura cannon. I don't know what that's necessarily going to look like. But there are plenty of weapons that like need to be at like long range to be able to, you know, work the best possible. Okay, I think we should kill. How did you do 1900 points of damage? Okay, something is maybe not perfect with these calculations yet. This is frustrating. Whenever I'm off camera, they always turn up exactly. Like, I can do them 5 times in a row, and they all check out. And then the first time I do it on camera, it's like something is amiss here. But like, I also don't need them to be perfect, right? I just like need an estimate. It's the same. We have since now recording this played SP Gundam G Generations Overworld. It like just the vague assessment of it is helpful for my brain to like understand how we're gonna make plays, especially when I want to like keep trying to push on turns. At least in this case, I feel like we are supposed to. Incredible. Okay, so we lost 10k funds from that. That's unfortunate, but I will live. Speaking of funds, though, we are going to we do get to upgrade the Grungust all the way at the end of this intermission. I hope it's worth it. We did waste a lot of SP on just, or not SP, a lot of funds on just like such useless like stat points. Well, nothing else is left, so let's waste our valor and just hope that we don't have like Drake show up in the Will Whips after this. We were told there was only one Aura battleship over the horizon. I think that was meant to be the Spriggan. I'm not sure what Museipo's story is, but we've sort of like, he was kind of a non-character here. We did also need to double, right? That was 4604. We would have done 2302. So yes, we did in fact need to double that. And we may as well get the funds. Okay, so we lost 8,000 from this. From poor plays. But we actually lost a lot, because if we had killed Todd beforehand, we could have also gotten Sho to another, like, Chum would have been left with another fortune, too. Yeah, this is actually, the Grand Garand could just, like, end the map for us right now. Depending on how these accuracies land. I don't understand why I can't select what the attack is going to look like here. That it's using its last known information. But like, I don't know. I feel like I should be able to choose. That's unfortunate, but acceptable. This is the like Byston Wells hump. We came in scrubbing out, and we're like coming out learning. And I definitely feel like we are playing. I definitely feel like I'm playing somewhat better through the end of this. We went through our like mini training arc. That doesn't mean we gotta stumble a couple of times though, right? The shonen protagonist doesn't get to like pull off their like epic super ultra attack perfectly immediately the first time they try to use it in real life. They gotta stumble a couple of times. I'm excited to see how the Grand Garand does, because so much of its identity to me is just the fact that it can give stat points, and no way does it do that in this game. Yeah, like I've got no input there. No matter what button I was pressing, it was still just confirming. While this attack that we've seen a couple times already is going on, I am curious by this accuracy calc. It does say elevation bonus. What does that mean? We've never had to deal with elevation before. That's like some Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced nonsense. Huh. Yeah, I'll definitely try and figure out accuracy at some point too. Alright, so we've got one thing left. Yeah, we're fully out there. Okay. We could just like really push Marvel. I mean, like, why not? We are here already. We may as well. Okay. Someone else is gonna need a chip. Let it be show in case he gets a kill. We can probably resupply somebody. That's 70 on a level 24, and that is 35 or 25 on a level 24. The answer is obvious. I can't wait to see what the rest of our team has been up to. I feel like this was the first time that a stage has felt vaguely hard. The previous stage was, as I described it, maybe I didn't describe it at the top of this video. This may have been just from the last video. I described it as, oh well, never mind. As being a gimmick, which is fine. The Grand Grand actually has to get over there, sure. I described it as a gimmick, which like I don't mind. Like gimmicks are good, but it definitely wasn't hard. I just like did not do the math about Ingram. I just sort of took for granted we could get there as long as we like full moved every turn. And that wasn't accurate. But like now that I know that is solvable. We're like, this will still require some play every time we do this stage to make sure that we don't die to one of the three bosses, you know? And clearly Ciela knows exactly what to do with that map, which is, I guess, just feed Marvel. She talks about there being a savior, the wings of Lean, and like, I don't know, Marvel sure does have wings. She sure is like 6 levels higher than all the rest of our party members. I'm sure she means show. I know she means show. And he's very like, no, he has to do like the usual like protagonist refusal to the call. Like, no, I don't belong here. I'm not the hero you think I am. But I'm sure we will see that. We'll see contrary evidence to the contrary shortly. Amuro really does want us to like head out of here as the rest of the Dunbanians, the Byston Wellians, extol us and how powerful our machines are, which admittedly, like Amuro did do a lot that map, but I feel like a lot more of the work came out of the Byston Well machines. But they reaffirmed that there is a very crucial link between Byston Wells and the surface world. That worries Amuro more and gives him more reason to be like, great, so you're like which makes sense out of Amuro, right? Like he understands that there is a deep psychic connection that tethers all people on the planet together, and he does not want to interfere with that. And it sounds like kind of their presence here is going to keep doing that. But I think Cielo makes a very interesting point. This is a point that's like very hard to cop to one side of. I think it's like very nuanced, and I think it's also like easier to talk about when you are not in the middle of it. But she says that like, well, any amount of input is going to produce more war. If you weren't here, we were just going to build machines to take their place. So better that you have them and you were doing something with them already than we added more to the conflict. But that we have to fight poison with poison because they will not stop fighting. They will kill us if we are not prepared to fight back. So we like weapons are necessary, even if we are trying to theoretically fight for peace. We can't just like sort of passively let this happen. And Amuro understands, but still values, you know, they can be active participants in the moment, but that their ultimate goal should still be trying to leave because, you know, it's very easy for them to extrapolate the other direction then too. If their power is so potent, then what's stopping Drake from being the one to add more weapons? And like they can't stay; they do have to return to their world. That does leave the Bystonwellians sort of stuck then if Drake amasses more power, if he builds more weapons, if more ore battleships become extant, when they couldn't fight them to begin with, right? When they needed outsiders' helps. So then we get this just very like arbitrary line. I don't love this. I'm hoping in text it's better than this, or like we will explore this more. But somebody asks if that cycle does continue, what does that mean for everybody? And is it Ciela? Yeah, Ciela says that someone like the King of the Miferrario, the fairies of this world, will just expel everybody, like back down to the surface. So like that feels like a really easy out. So of course our party wants to go there. And Chum says that, you know, it's very convenient thinking of you, but there's the Miferrario already barely get to see their king, let alone some outsider. Like, don't get your hopes up. But like, sure, we can still do our best to try. And in so doing, Ciela also says that she will commit to going with the Argama now, which makes sense. Which makes sense given the fact that, you know, she just was like active on the battlefield with members of Drake's army. Like Drake's going to know that she is present. So, you know, if we just sit back, that sounds like a recipe to just like get destroyed before you can like do anything. Okay. We have a lot of parts sitting here. I think I forgot. I don't think I quite realized that we had a lot of parts left over that could have made these maps even easier. So we gotta equip those at some point. This kind of stuff, I think I can do off screen and then talk about the changes that I made, like how we used to at the very beginning when I first recorded videos before I was going live. But there's a couple things we got to experiment with. So let's put our last point into the Grungust. Let's see if this does anything. Oh, it does. Okay, sick. Okay, we get 2,000 HP, 150 energy, 30 mobility, 400 armor, 30 limit. That seems awful. 1 extra movement. Or we could move one of our terrains up to A. Okay. It makes sense why we like kind of don't get damage, because we didn't upgrade any of the weapons. I doubt that this would improve. Like, if we go here, I doubt that this would change our weapon parameters. This feels like this is just changing our defensive parameters. If we upgrade our weapon all the way, then we would probably get this option for that weapon to change its parameters. But if someone knows in the comments at this point now, I would appreciate that. That seems like the time to tell me. I don't think the move is necessary, but is an easy candidate because everyone always wants more move. I think our other options are HP or defense. I think I like the armor more, considering about what we just learned about how damage is calculated. This is probably the most worthwhile. Yeah. Let's do this. Limit seems miserable. Limit seems like just such a waste. I don't know what unit would use this when you would like really need to go like commit far hard onto just one unit in order to make that happen. Yeah, it does not seem worthwhile. Okay. then someone left something. Oh, no, it's just that we had 3 Botoons, and Marvell is now in the Dunbine. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. You know what? We've not been going for that long. Or no, we've been going for some amount of time. Okay. I am pro upgrading the Dunbine compared to if I knew like how the SRX was going to work, I might be tempted to upgrade here. Like, these units are theoretically going to combine at some point. Do they share upgrades, I wonder? If they're going to combine, I feel like they gotta, right? Right? I don't know. Okay. But yeah, I guess let's look at... Where are you? Oh, yeah, here. Yeah. I always have trouble looking at the Bellbine. This is also... We're looking for its name. This is not what I wanted to see. I want... Nay... What is this being sorted by, right? This is being sorted by level. Okay. Give it a show. We should see if anyone is bad on their limit. Okay, no, everyone has an appropriate amount of limit. We do have L and Bell. Great. Oh, but Bell's in the Dunbine. That's interesting. And L is in the Grand Garand. Okay. Yeah, so I did see we could like change around where those subpilots are going. I do want to play around with that in a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we don't need to upgrade the limit. Like if we could, that's probably one of the first things, or like if we needed to, that's probably one of the first things we should do. But like that's probably decent. Do we use a lot of energy? No, we don't. Not really. Okay. I guess we will just hold the rest of it for more of the Bellbine. I don't know if we're going to like max out everything like we did on the Grungust, seeing as like having like obviously having those bonuses is worth it, but I'd rather just put the stats into units that could use it, right? We got what? We got 400 armor. A full upgrade bar is worth 1,300 armor. Here's 400 armor. We could just buy. I get it stacks on top of it, right? But if we're already stacking on a unit that already isn't taking any damage, there's like no reason to keep doing that, you know? It feels much better to spread it out. Now seeing how lackluster those upgrades, or not lackluster, how very middling those upgrades are. Yeah. Okay. Right, let's switch these around. So we have Chum in... Like, she can go into any of these 3. Is L a fairy also? Interesting. Okay. So let's look at what our... Okay, here. We're going to look what all of our fairies do. And then I will also figure out, while we are gone, where I want them to go. We'll talk about that. So, okay. Chum has a scan, a fortune, and I believe that's the one that gives extra morale. That's the... This is Ciela. She has a trust and a bullseye, okay. We have L. She also has a fortune and a scan. So she's basically a second copy right now of Chum. I wonder if their like terrain properties add anything to the units that they're helping pilot. Okay, never mind. This is a very easy answer. Bell is going to go with Ciela, seeing as Bell gives has HP healing, and like that's going to matter pretty much only on the battleship. Like if any of the Dunbine units are getting hit, they're probably dead. And then L can go with Marvell to give extra money. I guess L was a fairy. No, that's true. I guess L was the more slight fairy. Yeah, okay. That makes good sense. Don't worry, I will put the parts on somebody. I'm probably going to try and do a little bit of math about how accuracy works to like make those parts worthwhile, right? We have a lot of parts to distribute. We may as well do it. I have a sneaking suspicion that many of these are probably going to end up going on like the Grungust or the Grand Garand. It only gets one part. That's rough. Okay. Yeah, but I'll figure that out for next time. Well, this felt like a good episode. But I'm always happy whenever I get to do math. So I probably feel like I artificially feel like we've made more progress than we have. But that is fine by me. As far as I can tell, we did get 2 expert points this scenario. And then let me go back to my notes. Where is the expert point chart? Scroll down. We have, nope, too far. We have at least, we have 3 more maps from this route split. 2 of them are unique to this route split, and 1 more of them is going to be shared with the Far East route split option. Also, going back to look at the expert points, I forgot what route we chose. We picked Ava unit route. We sure have seen a lot of Ava units, haven't we? I'm sure that will come up at some point. Like, there's no world where we get given that. There's no world where we get told that as an option and then not interact with it at all. I could see it maybe being at the end, right? I feel like narratively we are leading up to the fact that we are sort of going to like explode out of Byston Wells back into the real world. And I could foresee us doing that in the middle of the like battle where Ava Unit 2 shows up and she fights, is it Gaffiel? Gessiel? No, that's definitely not that one. It's whatever the fish one is, right? Where she like stands on the water battleships. The like battleships on the water, right? Yeah, I think that's the one. We'll see. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. We had an uptick in subscribers, and that makes me very happy. I'm glad you all are interested in the channel. Please always feel free to share your thoughts. I always want to know what people are thinking, what people want to do. Evidently, seeing as we like changed Monday's schedule because people wanted to, so you know, I do listen. I promise. But if anyone has any questions about anything that we work on, please let me know. Also, like, I'm happy to look into stuff, especially now that I'm like actively trying to do math about this game. Like I said, I wasn't going to do, but definitely need to. I'll happily experiment some more, and we'll provide some more feedback too if we find some. If I find out some more about like how damage works in relationship to Aura Battler, because that like Aura Battlers feel like they are supposed to be doing damage. But yeah, I'll try and see if I can figure that out in the future. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this kind of stuff. Otherwise, you can expect some, if you're watching this like the day it comes out, you can expect more W on Thursday. That will be New Year's Day, but I will be streaming anyway to ring in the new year with everything I want to be doing anyway. And hopefully you'll join me, but if not, I totally understand why. Then Friday, we were off last week, even though we were supposed to be on last week, but we were off. So we will be returning to Fantasy Maiden Wars this Friday to make up for lost time, and then we'll go back to that every other schedule. And then back again for W on Sunday. And that's what my week looks like if you're watching this in proximity to when it comes out. If not, there's probably lots for you to watch. Enjoy. But otherwise, I will let you all go. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate you being here. If I don't see you live, I will hopefully see you in the VODs. Enjoy your evening. Make me the rest of your day. And that's all for me. Good night.